I'm Yuri.
I'm Jacob.
And we're going for a drive in my brand new family car. So I ended up buying a demo model 2021 Mazda CX5 Signature with a turbo.
Congratulations. It was a beautiful car.
So here's the story of why I bought this. I needed a safe car for my baby because she's 1 year old. I had the GTI, which was a 2-door. That wasn't good. My Element was manual and had suicide doors. That's no good. And all my other cars are stupid cars like the Abarth, the 350Z, and the Prowler. So not good for babies.
Agree.
So my needs for this car was it needed to be automatic so my wife could drive it.
Check.
4 doors because all my other cars were stupid.
Check.
And putting a baby into the back of a 2-door is a total nightmare. Don't think about doing it unless like you really want your sports car.
Or you have a really good back.
Yeah, it needed to have a high safety rating.
Which this does have.
Yeah, actually the highest in a new test that measured side impacts from larger SUVs, and this was the only one that did like the best.
Today, the Institute is releasing results for 20 small SUVs. These results are from our new, tougher side crash test. Of the 20 vehicles we tested, only one received a good rating. The Mazda CX5 was our top performer in this inaugural round of newer, tougher side impact testing.
Actually, I had a buddy who recently got T-boned in a parking lot and his side airbags in a Mazda CX5 went off and he was totally fine.
Yeah.
And he actually ended up buying another CX5 because he loved that one so much.
CX5. I need safe,
Shout out Lucas.
safe car for the baby. And that's why you can see I've got this baby seat here, which we'll go over in a bit.
There we go. Then click this down. It's nice.
I wanted a good infotainment so that my wife wouldn't be distracted while driving.
This is good.
This is the best infotainment, and I'll explain why shortly.
I think part of that is incorrect, but this is not my vehicle.
Gas mileage, I don't really care, and I didn't care if it was gas or EV.
And this gets decent gas mileage, but you opted for the turbo because top trim.
It was literally what was available. I'll explain that later, but I'm getting 12 liters per 100 kilometers.
Oh, okay.
Is that good or bad?
That's not very good.
It's not very good. But it's all city driving.
It's
so
all
like,
city driving, low kilometer trips.
Yeah.
Yeah, the engine like isn't even warmed up by that point.
It's like I'll make sure it'll get warmed up enough, but yes.
Yeah.
I didn't care about the sound system in the car,
Okay.
and I wanted to have tune mix, but it wasn't a must.
All right, but you still have the good Bose system in here.
And this does have tune mix. So
All right.
it's looking really good.
Okay.
I didn't care if it was super comfortable or not, just like normal. And I needed memory seats.
Okay, so that does have memory seats on the driver's side, which is good.
And then I didn't want another shitty steering column that banged against your knees like Volkswagens do.
And this one doesn't. It's nice and,
So every Volkswagen was off the list for consideration.
fair enough.
Even though my wife really, really loved her GTI.
Okay.
Piano black, I didn't care about.
I can tell. It's very scratched up and dirty already.
Visors and cup holders, like I didn't really care, but I actually don't know if these pass or not. I'm pretty sure they...
think they're gonna fail because they have the extension.
3, 2, 1.
Fail and
Okay.
extension.
So that's how much you should take our test.
And what about the cup holder?
The cup holder is behind the shifter, so I need to grab the cup and then readjust it before I take a drink, which sucks. I do like it when cup holders are in front of the shifter.
And you've complained that in other Mazda reviews of probably this exact vehicle before.
And here I am after spending a bunch of money with the cup holder behind the shifter.
So it turns out it's not a deal breaker, is it now, Yuri?
Neither is the visor.
Deal breaker!
I didn't really care about lane centering, and I didn't really care about radar cruise, because lane centering for my wife, who's a newer driver, I feel like that's just confusing.
Okay.
But this does have lane departure assist and blind spot monitoring and all that stuff, which I did want to have. I want to have rear cross traffic, all of the safety features.
I'm surprised you didn't care about that, but considering this is technically actually your wife's car, I totally understand that.
Yeah, it's mostly for her.
Yeah.
And she trusted me with my expertise of my job
That's good.
to do all of the picking for her.
I'm gonna say you didn't screw up.
And then I needed to have keyless entry, obviously, because it's
convenient.
It's the future.
Yeah.
So this does have keyless entry. It does not have proximity touch. You actually have to push that little button, which kind of does suck.
Yeah.
But you know what?
You have it.
It's not the end of the world living with it.
Exactly.
And then lastly, I wanted remote start, which this does not have, unfortunately.
Okay.
I wanted heated seats and a heated steering wheel.
Did you get both?
I did.
Did you get cooled seats? Yes. Oh, sick.
But I showed that to my wife, and she's like, "This, I don't like this."
Oh, it's
I'm not
the best.
like, I'm like, all right, well,
You're gonna like
it has it anyways.
Wait till one day this is baking in the hot sun in the driveway. She gets in, she's going to be like, I wish the seats were cool. Then she's going to press that button.
Yeah, I don't think she literally did not like
Okay.
it. And did I mention that I didn't care about the looks?
I think you may have.
Like
No, you didn't.
It didn't really matter to me what the car looked like.
Okay, but this is a good looking car, especially in this soul red metallic, whatever it's called, paint.
Yeah, I kind of lucked out.
Yeah.
So the other cars that I was seriously considering was the Ioniq 5. Before we reviewed it, I wanted to buy that demo model. I thought it was so cool. And then once we reviewed it, like my wife drove it a little bit, and like all the tech, and it was kind of overwhelming. And then with all the bad charging experiences we had, that was like kind of the last car I wanted to force my wife to drive around, like getting her stuck at like a Petro-Canada while the door to the charger swinging open. It's like just not, it's not ready for that.
Yeah, I hear you.
Then the next car I was considering was a Honda Civic Sport Touring hatchback with CVT.
Fantastic option. We love the new Civic.
So I had Cherry from Car Help Canada help me find a local one in Toronto. So I did find one at one dealership. I put in my deposit. I waited. It kept getting pushed to the point where it went from being ready in April to being ready in August.
Okay.
So I eventually bailed on that.
That makes sense. You need a car sometimes.
But if I was in the States, I would have used tsp.truecar.com and I would have been able to find them at dealerships ready to buy. So I kind of wish I was in the States for that.
In-stock pricing and discounted price offers through our link.
And I think more people have bought Honda Civics on tsp.truecar than any other car.
Yes, and a lot of CX5s as well, conveniently.
Yeah, but I was seriously...
And also, I should also say, a lot of Hyundai Ioniq 5s as well.
Okay, well, yeah, well, I don't know.
Those are all the cars that you're shopping
But
for.
I was like, I was
cars.
so ready to buy that Civic. It
Yeah.
just like wouldn't show up in time. When, you know, chip shortages, all that stuff. I get it.
Exactly.
And a lot of people also suggested a RAV4 Prime, but the waiting time for that was like a year.
It's a good car. Plus, you also said you didn't care about gas mileage, so...
Yeah, it's just like,
cares?
I think there's higher resale to sell
Yeah.
that. It's just more in demand.
Yes, that's a hard car to get.
And then I was thinking about the Forester. I really like that too. And the Forester also has Tune Mix on Subarus. So, you know, one of those features that I really, really wanted.
And that one still didn't have the tall infotainment, right?
Yeah, I don't think it did. No, it was the Outback that did.
Yes.
I was happy with it. The off-road one we drove, what was it called?
Wilderness.
Yeah, I like that a lot. But for some reason, I just kind of got fixated on those three and then didn't go farther than that. I also thought a Santa Cruz would be cool, but those are expensive and I don't really need a pickup truck.
Yeah, and like you said, you're driving this, or your wife's primarily driving this in the city, so you don't really need a wilderness edition of anything.
Yeah, but that's cool to get the top trim.
Yeah.
If I was going to get one, I would have got the top trim.
Okay.
And then the reason I didn't go Porsche, BMW, or Mercedes is because I bought a house in Toronto recently, and that's pretty much all you need to know about that, really.
Yeah. If you're not familiar with that, our prices are insane.
Yeah, highest prices in North America.
Yep.
Higher than California.
There you go, LA. I don't know if that's something to be bragging about.
But I don't know if I'm like ready to have like my first new car be a BMW, Porsche, or a Mercedes.
Nah, that's big money for new ones.
And this still kind of counts as a new car because I've never bought a car that was like a year old. Like,
Dude,
this counts.
As far as I'm concerned, I'm sitting in a press car. Like,
Yeah.
this feels like I'm in a brand new car.
So I think this actually was a press car or demo car or something like that, and that's how I got it.
Okay.
And I did have a CX5 as a long-term tester. You'll remember we compared that against the Taos, but that one was a 2021.5 CX5.
Yes, which had some minor changes.
It had the bigger infotainment screen
Yes.
and a bunch of different other little things. I don't mind the older infotainment. I actually like the older infotainment because the stuff that I use it for is better. But there is one thing that sucks really bad about this.
Okay.
In the 2019 CX5 video, you did the test where it took 45 seconds to make T before everything would, like, you could use your 360 camera and your Sirius XM satellite radio.
Yep.
This has that same issue where it takes forever.
Jacob, Journalist of the Year, 2021.
It sucks when I'm reparking it because if I want to use the 360 camera, I actually have to wait like 45 seconds.
Hey man, that's why I complain about it.
But I don't mind waiting for the radio to turn on. It's just a little bit annoying. I also got to point out that when you put it in reverse, you can also just push this down instead of pushing the 360 camera button, which means you don't have to swipe through menus or anything to find the button. It's super easy. But back to the Sirius XM and the Tune Mix stuff. I love this infotainment because I can get to it so quickly. I just click the star button. I don't even have to look at it. I look quickly to Tune Mix, click. I spent like 2 milliseconds looking at the screen instead of concentrating on the road there.
Yeah, that was good.
A lot of newer infotainments and a lot of newer cars, you'd be digging through the infotainments like crazy in a Mercedes to do that same thing.
Yep, or just talk to it.
Which would take
Yeah,
much
exactly.
longer. And then you can rewind, fast forward in this, and it's great. And if you want to try it in your new car or your car that you haven't activated before, you can go to SiriusXM.ca.com/TheStraightPipes. You get a free 3-month trial. if you bought a new car or haven't had it activated in a while. Some cars, it's even more than 3 months.
Yeah.
And then you can use it on the app, and then you can sync that up to your Alexa home as well.
Ooh.
So you can have it playing on your speakers while you're chilling at home too.
There you go.
And there's extra channels on the app, which you don't get in the car, which is very nice for hanging out at home. So then there's a few features that this car has that I wasn't looking for, but I'm very happy it has. Like locking the car. What's the most annoying thing?
Let's see. The most annoying thing about locking the car, probably a loud horn.
Loud horn. This has a nice subtle like electric beep.
Okay.
And the mirrors fold in.
Luxury, signature.
And I was not looking for 360 cameras. I thought it'd be nice to have. This actually does have 360 cameras because it is the top trim of the CX5.
And how's the resolution?
Garbage. However, you can see everything. You're not going to curb. My wife loves turning on the 360 camera with this view button right here.
And it's at least accurate.
It's very accurate. The only thing that sucks is it's right next to the parking sensor button. And one time my wife accidentally clicked that and she's like, oh, it's not beeping, but I'm getting close. And I checked. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So now we just double check that that's on. And then back to this infotainment being perfect. The next perfect thing about it is to go to Apple CarPlay. You just hold this home button and it toggles between Apple CarPlay and whatever screen you were on before in the infotainment.
Now that is nice, but that is my one thing that I don't like about this infotainment. Not a touchscreen for Apple CarPlay when you're driving.
Exactly, but I don't like that. I believe in the Mazda ways of not being distracted. I like the rotary dials, so I am fully on board with this.
Yeah, I'm still not, but whatever, not my car.
And the next cool thing is when you're in your Google Maps or your Apple Maps in CarPlay, if you click the navigation button on the command center here, it goes right to your Google Maps or your Apple Maps. It doesn't go to the onboard navigation if you already have a direction put in.
That's perfect.
Exactly, and it's hard buttons. You're not swiping, scrolling, or talking. So then I mentioned blind spot monitoring. It has rear cross traffic assist, and with the camera, it can go so wide that when I'm backing out of my driveway or out of any driveway, you can fully see the sidewalk both ways before you get to it. So I don't have to worry about like little kids running and not seeing them past the fence or anything.
Convenient.
So now some stuff that I didn't like. My gauge cluster does not show the digital speedo.
Yeah, I know how much you like that too.
Yeah, I complain about that and everything, but it does have a head-up display which does show the speedo.
Okay.
And my wife really loves that head-up display. She says it's in a good position. It's not like right in the way. So as long as she's happy, I'm happy.
Exactly.
But it does suck that it just doesn't show it there.
It's funny too because it's a digital cluster in the middle.
And then this does have a roadside detection. You know when you're going through like a speed camera zone and it'll like show you the speed you're going?
Yeah.
Sometimes it picks that up as the speed. It's like you're in a 35 zone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's weird.
But it's cool that it shows it, and then combined with your Google Maps, it'll also show what the speed of the road is. In all honesty, I love that the speed limit is labeled in red from the camera detection system. It really helps you not speed. Not that you really want to in one of these anyways. And then back to that no remote start. You can actually get a remote start from the dealer. So I was thinking of getting that installed and keeping that at the house so when it's winter we can remote start and like, because I don't need to have like an extra key fob with me at all times.
Yeah, no,
right?
that'd be super convenient.
But then I have to pay for it.
Yeah. Everything costs money, Yuri.
It also comes with these awesome floor mats that are kind of like WeatherTechs, but for Mazdas, and they're not as squeaky as WeatherTech, so that's nice. To pick up all the crumbs from my little baby. And the next thing that I really didn't care about, not at all, not one bit, the turbo engine. Jacob, you need to get behind the wheel.
Oh, I get to drive this?
Launch it. I put premium gas in it. We're gonna yell horsepower and torque and do the whole thing.
Alrighty. All right, Yuri, before I launch it, all the complaints that I previously had, my knee still hits over here, cardboard seats, doesn't matter, not my car, sport mode, brake boost.
That's traction on too.
Yeah.
And the traction is like an off-road button. That's some alright power.
Dude, this thing rips, man. This is great.
But, you know, like, I've only floored it like twice, and it never goes into sport mode.
I'm gonna dial that back and never do that again.
And it does have paddles, which I think the 2019 didn't.
Ah, yeah, that's nice, convenient.
Yeah.
How many gears we got? 7, 6? Oh yeah, because it's a regular auto, that's right.
This is like good old normal car stuff. This is what we talk about wanting, and I actually got it.
Yeah, that's true. Wait till I show everybody my new family car.
Yeah. I actually don't even know what it is.
No, you don't.
It's from Japan, though.
Yes, it is.
So we're excited to see what...
Yes, I'm currently importing it, and it should be here very soon in my name.
Okay, Jacob, yell horsepower and torque.
Horsepower and torque!
227 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque from a 2.5-liter turbo. But on premium, we get 250 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque.
And did you put premium in here?
Yeah. Yeah,
Sick.
dude.
Felt like
I don't
it.
think our press cars ever get premium, so we've never actually experienced that extra kick of power.
Yeah, we don't know what the previous journalist put in.
Let
but,
me tell you, none of the previous journalists are putting in premium.
No, and I will say the suspension through here is fantastic. No problems. Cliche corner through that bump, and a little bit of understeer just like it did when we reviewed it, and it's actually pretty damn good.
It's fine.
Yeah, these tires are screeching a little bit. I noticed they're not Continentals yet.
Yes, I ordered Cross Contact LX25, so they're going to come in soon. I'm going to swap that over. That's the Continental recommended tire for a CX5, and I can't wait to get rid of these tires, and then I'll probably get some Viking Contact 7s for the winter, which will be nice.
Yeah, you need to. Are you going to get separate wheels or just keep swapping tires? I think you need separate wheels.
Separate wheels.
Yeah.
I think maybe I'll get some like a cool, like big white wheels, like look like race car wheels. I don't know. You know, like
that'd
white
be
wheels
fun.
on my car.
Yeah.
Okay, and then let's get to the looks real quick.
Plastic cladding.
Plastic cladding.
Because it's not a 2022.
Exactly. I don't really mind it. And it doesn't
Yeah.
have the updated headlights and taillights, but the 2022 does look better, 100%. And while we're on to the 2022, the reason I didn't even consider the CX50 was because that stitching on the seat that I didn't feel comfortable in my butthole.
Yeah.
100%.
That was a thing.
Just, no.
Yeah.
So then it did come in red, which was a nice surprise for me. My wife actually doesn't like red cars. She wanted this in gray, but she says she does like this red. It's her favorite red. And when I park it on the street in front of my house, when the sun goes down, it always reflects perfectly, and I always get to see this beautiful red in front of my flowers in front of my house.
It is a beautiful red when the sun's out, and when it's not, like when we were filming the exterior shots of this when it was rolling.
It just looks burgundy.
Yeah.
That's the plus and the negative of this car.
It really is with this paint color.
But I guess you can't have the cool paint color without it like only popping in the sun.
Yeah.
So some more stuff that this doesn't have. It doesn't have a lumbar that goes up and down, only forward and back, and only on the driver's seat.
Is that a deal breaker for your sciatica?
No,
Okay,
it's
'cause
fine. It's enough lumbar.
You didn't buy this when you had sciatica.
Yeah. Next thing this doesn't have, grocery bag hangers in the trunk.
Oh, is that a deal breaker?
No, but I was thinking of getting some like 3M hooks, putting that up or something.
Yeah.
And it didn't come with the privacy cover. The dealership's like, oh no, this was an option with that. It's
Really?
like extra, dealer extra.
Oh.
I'm like, dang.
I thought this was like standard.
And the thing that I think I hate the most about this car is that there's no lock button on the trunk.
Ah.
So when you close it, then you have to go around and then like click the button or pop the key out of your pocket and lock it.
Right, okay.
I hate that. I wish they could like firmware update so if you hold the button for like 3 seconds, that turned into a close and lock mode, but that's not realistic. So it turns out there's a button right here that you can press to lock it, but if you press too early, it beeps, doesn't lock, and then you gotta make sure you push it at the right time. And you gotta sit at the car and wait for it to close.
And then the one thing that people comment on when we comment that you can't turn off the DRLs, because Americans, I believe you can through the infotainment, but as Canadians, you cannot turn off the DRLs, so you're always rolling with your main lights on.
Yeah. And I bought this car to be a safe family car, so I don't really.
It's just for you messing around, like you'd never tell your wife to, hey,
Yeah,
make sure you roll around with...
Make sure your DRLs look cool when you drive it.
Yeah.
No. And the last couple things, no peasant shades in the back. It hasn't really been an issue yet.
Okay.
Small sunroof, I don't know if I like or don't like it. I just don't mind it at all. Like, I'm just cool with any sunroof, I think.
It's good because the baby's not going to get blasted by the sun.
And the last thing is, when I'm driving, my elbows cannot rest perfectly and touch the steering wheel.
Mine can.
Yeah, so that's the one thing I don't really like. But
Look at that.
I think when I drive this, I have both hands up there anyways.
Yeah.
Full concentration, make sure the baby's safe.
Hang on, is this how you're driving when you're in this? Is
No.
it this?
No, and I don't let my wife drive like that either. So now, before I get to what I paid for, the price, there's one really important thing, is this child seat.
Yes.
So our babies both have gotten older. They're over 1, so we had to go from the smaller one to the bigger one. I had an upper baby seat, but I had the hardest time trying to install that. So instead, everybody on Instagram, follow us, Yuri Tereshin, The Straight Pipes, it's really Jacob, cryptocurrency,
Charles
Cryptocurrency. Don't follow that one. Everyone told me to try the Britax ClickTight. So I ended up buying one to replace the upper baby one. And it was so easy to install. I did a YouTube review on my Yuri Tereshin, so you can check that out. I showed that video to Jacob, and I asked Britax if they could send a chair for Jacob. They said, sure, and we'll send you one too in the new color waves. So Jacob, you've got your new seat. Now we need to film a video of you installing this for the first time to see how easy it is. Because I spent like 4 hours on that last seat.
Okay.
Couldn't get it like super tight.
Yeah, perfect. The seat looks great. And the one that I'm going to be installing in my personal vehicle will be the one that's coming soon, which hasn't arrived from Japan yet. Just going to give myself a bunch of slack. Okay, let's put this through here. There we go. Come on. There we go.
You got to make sure there's no twists in the seatbelt.
Are there twists? Okay, oh yeah, twist. There we go, clicked in. Okay, so now I gotta tighten all this, right?
Yep.
So I just hold on to this.
And it's good to have this strap, which is your release strap for the actual seatbelts, nice and high up out of the way. And this is the anti-roll bar that we already put on it.
Okay, so I'm holding this tight. I click this down.
Yes, and it is now in place.
Oh yeah.
And that's super solid, and you don't have to lock. You're not supposed to lock this seatbelt. You're supposed to just leave it like that.
It's nice. So with everything out of the way, let's get to the price.
Brand new, these things were about 41,000 Canadian.
Damn.
And this one cost me about 35,000 Canadian, and this is a used one, probably 2 years oldish, because if it's 2021, it was probably made in like 2020.
Canadian.
So I feel like I got a good deal on that. Sharia Car Help Canada went over all my paperwork, my financing stuff, to make sure I wasn't getting screwed over or anything, because I'm not good at that. So if you're in Canada, use Car Help Canada to help you with that kind of paperwork.
Now, was that tax inclusive?
I can't remember. I think before tax.
Okay, yeah.
It adds up. Tax adds up when you're buying like these kind of cars.
Sure
and stuff
does.
Like that. So yeah, I feel like I got a good price on it and everything. I'm super happy with it. My wife loves it. And what do you think of my purchase?
I think it's a fantastic purchase. I would recommend
Very adult.
it. Yeah.
This is the most adult thing I've ever done in my life.
I've recommended CX5s to a lot of people. If you're not as tall as I am and this knee thing isn't an issue, then this is a great vehicle.
Yeah, and are you surprised at any things that I dealt with in this car, that I like lived with, that I complain about in other car reviews?
I'm kind of surprised at certain things like the super low res backup camera, 360 camera, that you're just dealing with it, and the lack of touchscreen for Apple CarPlay, but you said you're totally fine with all that stuff.
I love the rotary knob. I love the shortcut buttons. One click to get to different things in my infotainment, tune mix. I feel like I've justified my purchase and my reviewing style.
Okay, and I'd like to see that in future car reviews where you're not going to complain about any of those items ever again.
No, I'll complain about them, but I can see how people just deal with them.
Right. And I do like how you just happen to end up with the turbo top trim one. That's my favorite part.
If it wasn't the turbo top trim, I would have been fine. I did not care.
That's what I said.
One bit.
I like that you ended up with it.
Yeah. And end up in red.
Yes.
Like I got kind of lucky with a lot of the things.
Yeah.
And a brown interior that's barely brown.
Yeah. This is definitely barely brown.
We forgot about that. Yeah, and I don't care about this like wood trim stuff.
Where's your wireless charger?
This doesn't have one.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Oh, and this does have wireless Apple CarPlay. So my wife uses wireless and I use the wired. So if we're both in the car and I want to use mine, I just click mine in and then click yes to overrule the wireless one.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's a great system.
It is.
Okay, that's pretty much it. Let me know how I did with my purchase, what you think I should have got instead, and go to tsp.truecar.com to find a car for yourself. And subscribe, because Jacob's going to be reviewing his family car from Japan soon, which I think is just like completely wild.
Yeah, we'll see what I ended up with. I'm importing a car from Japan for the first time. I've never driven it, never sat in it. I don't even know what it's like, but I ordered it. This is an import from Japan. It is, but I'm buying a used vehicle and importing it. And fun fact, my car shared the same boat as the new GR Corolla marketing car.
Jacob bought a GR Corolla, confirmed.
Just saying, share the boat.